What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic coming to you with your PGA first look. Oh, baby. It's going to be so exciting. PGA DFS first look here for Augusta. I'm excited. You're excited. First major of the year. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we get going. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. You become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. My friends, it's arrived. My friends, I'm so excited. You smell that? It smells like azaleas and crow's nest beer and a lot of rain. Yes, we got rain in the forecast, but we also have Rainmakers. Yes, we got the PGA Tour Rainmakers action going on over at DK, the new sponsor of our lovely program. And if you haven't checked out your free pack yet, you can sign up for that in the video description box below. Go to the My Packs section. I've already got mine. I have another one and some other things that are sitting there as well. But PGA Tour, I'm going to be firing up the Rainmaker streets, and I think you probably are going to be too. There's certain guys. Eric Barnes out. He's not even playing golf this week, but we have all these different players to choose from. It's going to be a lot of fun here heading there. So if you are interested in PGA DFS Rainmakers, which you should be, very easy to go sign up here right now. Simply go to the lobby, fire it up. There are great contests. We have 5K to first here. For this one, 12,000 entrants here at the moment. Then these single entry tournaments too are just phenomenal. So we're playing NFTs, but we're doing it over in DFS format. So using the NFTs that you get, you can buy them on the secondary market. Pretty easy to be able to draft your teams. Drafting teams of 5 here. Have John Rahm sitting there at the top. Nice life to have there. Victor Hovland, Cantlay, Schauffele. We're going to talk through all of my favorite players. A lot of them I have cards of this week. Some other guys that I'm going to need to buy some cards of, and we'll talk about that. We have DraftKings free Rainmakers projections for you to check out over at Stokastic. So do that as well. Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, a lot of players that are jumping to the top here. And when we go over to the top golfers tool, they'll jump out as well. But make sure you take advantage of your free promo pack. They also have a Georgia pack that is going to be available for you. So lots of great opportunities for you to get in the game for the first major of the year. Let's jump over to the top golfers tool, shall we? And we're going to do things a little bit differently here for this first major. I'm going to spend most of the time here on the top golfers tool, show you what's about with that. Then we have this promo going for the lineup generator. Yes, the PGA lineup generator, $2.50 here for you to be firing that up. Can't tell you how excited I am for everything between Rainmakers, between the new lineup generator. So if you've never made lineups in the PGA streets, this is your opportunity. $2.50 right now at Stokastic. Check it out for a week. Augusta 23. That's the lovely promo code. I'll zoom in on that if I can. Nah, I'm a terrible producer. Look at me go. I tried. Promo code Augusta 23. That's really all there is to know. But we're going to be avoiding here going to Cruncher for this week because I want to be focused primarily here for you. I think there's going to be a lot of things that change. We're going to see some tee time draws. That's got to come out. We got to see some opportunities for where we can possibly stack in that regard. We're going to have to wait on weather report coming out tomorrow on things, but it looks like it's going to get really cold on Saturday. I think Thursday, Friday shouldn't be too bad, but it's going to be wet. It's going to be wet throughout. It's going to be cold. It's going to be rainy. And that's where we can start here. We don't have the optimal percentages yet. I think that's going to matter in terms of the tee time draws. Projections updated 2 hours ago. Yeah, just waiting on a couple of things to come out here for you there. But I want you to be able to see some of the goods of what we're dealing with. And we'll start by grouping by salary. Scotty Scheffler, last year's winner. He's pretty good at golf. We'll see where this ownership lands. But right now, sitting in that 20% ballpark, he's 11-1 for this week's slate. He's very good. I don't know what else to tell you. Their top 6 percentage of 51.1%. That is crazy high, but that's the nature of 89 golfers in a field. That's the nature of a more limited field event, and then his form has just been outrageous. But there's one player that we're projecting for more ownership, but also more top 6 percentage odds, and that is Rory McIlroy. It's not surprising to see Rory McIlroy at the top for our projections by any means. He's the guy. I know he's going to be Ben Raza's guy every single week and every single day, ending in Y, that's for sure. But nice to see Alex Baker, the team here at Stochastic, really behind him as well. The players, we're going to disregard that. Around the green, things got weird. The putter got weird. But a second at the Arnold Palmer put himself in the mix there. we're talking about one of the best players in the world. I think things have been revamped. You saw him at the match play himself into consideration there with a brand new putter and maybe a brand new attitude on the greens. We'll see here, but this is the one major that he's still missing out on. I think this ownership, it's wild to say warranted, because he's the highest owned golfer in the entire field. But it is what it is. Oh, we'll talk about some of these other pieces in a little bit. But one of the major differences between going to Rainmakers and seeing these cards and then playing DFS this week over at DraftKings is without a doubt the existence of the live golfers. And the most expensive one that sits at the top of the board, Dustin Johnson, is 8,800. If this were days of yore, Dustin Johnson at 8,800 would be infinity percent owned. He is 6.8% owned because nobody knows what the heck to do with any of these dudes. Do you know? I don't know. All I know is that he's won this event before in November. Lowest score relative to par because, again, November, a little bit different than playing here in April. However, April showers bring May flowers, and also more rain might have that golf course playing a little bit closer to what it did once upon a time back in that November. A little bit softer, a little bit more forgiving, and he bombs it so he can deal with the length of it. 8,800 Dustin Johnson has a ton of leverage. I just agree with it. I like getting to Dustin Johnson at 8,800. Some of these other expensive players, I'm probably going to be off of Justin Thomas this week. Dude, show me what you got with the putter one time, please. We have Patrick Cantlay up there. And then Cameron Smith, he's actually the most expensive live player. I should correct myself. Should have talked about him from the onset. He's got 3 amazing finishes here, including last year T3. He has a T2, T6. He's very good at golf. But I have no idea what his form is. And he's one of those live players that it seems like, well, seems like he's doing okay. But there are whispers. Little bit of whisper action that he might be dealing with an injury. And over at DraftKings Sportsbook, his odds have changed from 20-1 to 35-1 within the last hour before me recording this. So I want to throw it out there. You might have more information than I do when it comes to one Cameron Smith. So be on the lookout for what exactly is going on there because, again, completely unowned. These live golfers, I think they're all going to be a lot lower owned than we think, except for one. And that's where I go to the top of the ownership board. Brooks Koepka, yay, he just won the Live Orlando. Whoop-de-doo, what does it all mean, Basil? I have no idea. All I know is that he was underpriced at 7,600. And now we have Corey Connors, who won last week, who just ironically had to be 7,600 as well. So 2 winners from last week. One at a make-believe golf tournament, unless you're my buddy Jesse, in which case it's like his favorite DFS to be playing. And then Corey Connors, 7,600 we're looking at there as well. 2 of your 3 most popular golfers. I am definitely going to be on the Corey Connors side of things here. Brooks Koepka, I will have to talk myself down off the ledge, I think, more than likely, because I can't play everybody chalky here, and I think he's easier to get away from for sure. Our top 6 percentage is actually favoring Brooks Koepka here, but Corey Connors, 3 consecutive top 10s at this first major of the year. I want to throw that out there for you as well. Probably makes it 4. I really like Corey Connors. I bought a lot of his DraftKings Rainmakers cards in anticipation of this week. That worked out well at the Valero Texas Open last week, didn't it? I think it worked out pretty well. Let's talk about some of the other popular golfers here, shall we? Again, don't want to be giving you all the goods. You can sign up for that here at Stokastic. Get that optimal percentage here for the Masters, but things are going to be in flux until Wednesday. You want to know the most updated information, updated on Wednesday night. You got Ben Raza, Jeff Ulrich taking you guys all the way up to lock on the Stokastic DFS channel right here. I'm here. Patrick Mahomes, anybody? All right, Patrick Reed, 7,300, very, very popular as well. So there are live golfers on the bottom that are getting attention because, again, it feels weird to have 7,600 Brooks Koepka. It feels weird to have 7,300 Patrick Reed. I think right now I'm more in line with just getting rid of both of them and going towards Corey Connors, but we'll see. I'm very nervous that we're going to see like 30% Corey Connors and these guys might come in a little bit underrated, but we shall see. There's one live guy that, of course, I'm going to bring up a little bit later that I think might be our steal here. But thinking about the conditions for this golf tournament, I think around the green game might be muted just a little bit. And so the chalky player that I'm looking at the most in the 8-9K range is Tony Finau. Now, it's not as bad as it's been for Viktor Hovland chipping a golf ball, who's lost every single tournament around the greens and then still put up a third there at the Players. And he's just incredible. I'm going to have a lot of Viktor Hovland as well. I want to throw it out there, but I think the guy that I'm going to be leaning on the most, Tony Finau. Do I want to be starting my builds with Tony Finau at 8,900? No, but I don't think it's out of the question if you're going to go completely balanced. Finau, Dustin Johnson taking that shot, Cameron Young with a new caddy on the bag. Hey, Tessitore, yeah, let's party. Viktor Hovland, my guy, Hideki, also former winner, and my, of course, dude, Sam Burns. 12.5%, that's too low. But I'm very much eyeing Tony Finau to start having a better season. He's finished top 25 in every single event this year, but I still expect him to be finishing better than that. Bombs the crap out of the golf ball, top 6 percentage at 25%, regardless of how this golf course plays. Because again, I'm making an educated guess. A lot of rain. I know they have the subterranean craziness going on underneath the greens to firm them out, but it's going to be impossible to make it that much drier if it's just going to be constantly raining. Water sits on top of those greens still. So regardless of the sub craziness that they have on those greens, I think we're looking at a muted around the green game. I think that's where a Finau Viktor Hovland pairing, we'll get to that when we get to my single entry team that I'm starting to put together with everybody. But so we get into the 7K range. It's pretty wild how much ownership these two are absorbing. Patrick Reeves absorbing, and then Min-Woo Lee at 7,600, who I love, by the way. Maybe not for this, his inaugural go around Augusta. Probably will be skipping out on that one. More than likely, I don't know. Fits into the bomber builds. Might be throwing him that direction, even though he'll hit a lot of 2 irons off tees like we saw at Sawgrass. This is more forgiving than you had at Sawgrass, though, so I expect him to go nuke some drivers. That's for darn sure. But I'm looking at this 7K range. Group it there. There's one player that kind of stood out to me. Not Tiger. Everybody else can have fun with Tiger this week. But Sahith Theegala, if you're going to play a rookie here, 7,500, 6.2%, just kind of an all-around game coming out of the College Player of the Year at Pepperdine, PGA Tour Rookie of the Year. We're looking at a Sahith Theegala that can really put it together here. We have negative leverage going on him, but less negative leverage than Koepka and Connors and Min-Woo Lee, that's for sure. Less than Patrick Reed. Abraham Answer 7,400. Am I really going to click on that? I might have to click on some of that, but I want to throw one name into the ether, shall I? Let's look at Mito Pereira. 7,200. I think this is the live golfer relative to ownership that I think I might have more interest in than our tools do in terms of leverage. He's finished, what, 6th at Live Orlando? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Whatever, Live Tucson it was. I don't know. He doesn't have a Rainmakers card. Just wanted to point that out here too. But back to the Top Golfers tool. Mito Pereira, we saw him choke at the PGA last year. Hit driver into the creek, makes double. Netflix documented it. It was lovely. But Mito Pereira, 7,200. I think he's just a good enough golfer where at that kind of a number, I will take the blind faith, the blind jump, getting to some of him there, as opposed to some of these other guys from like Taylor Gooch, 6,800. Probably don't want any of that. Thomas Peters, 6,900. Probably don't want any of that. I think Mito's really where I'm kind of drawing the line amongst the live guys. Anybody cheaper down here isn't going to be in my pool. But I want to give a special shout out to 6,500 Adams Fenson. You know what? Maybe I'll save that for the single entry build, but just want to throw it out there. He's playing a lot better golf than I think he's getting credit for at 6,500 and 0 ownership. So that might end up being another one of my guys that I just have a massive stand on. We'll see where that ownership comes down at the end, but let's go to the positive leverage. Rahm GOAT. I mean, sub 10% because he's sitting next to Scotty Scheffler, and Scheffler keeps winning. Do people not know Jon Rahm won 3 of the last 7 events? And he's very good at golf. I'm actually taking Cantlay against him in a head-to-head, so I want to throw that out there too. 9,500 Patrick Cantlay with positive leverage off of his top 6 percentage of 30%. Both of those guys seem like they're nice ways to start your single entry builds as well, but this is the guy that I can't believe that I bet, and I can't believe that I'm actually in on right now. But Jordan Spieth at 9,700, I don't think he's getting credit for just how well he's played golf this year. 3rd at the Valspar with the positive putter there. 19th at the Players, 4.6 strokes gain approach, 5.5 tee to green. 4th at the Arnold Palmer. Not a golf course I thought would be necessarily fitting him. Gained 5.9 around the green because he chips in, does crazy stuff. Again, the players, I get it. He came a drive away from missing that cut. But now I'm getting positive leverage at Augusta National. And I don't know how this weather is going to play, but this dude is the guy you want getting you up and down out of trash cans. Like, that's what he feels like. Jordan Spieth. This Bryson play, can't get behind that. I won't have any of him. If he wins and he burns me, he burns me. Pretty sure I can tell that he's not playing good golf on LIV from the old press clippings and things that I dug through this week. Kind of wild, because I paid zero attention to LIV until this week, just like a lot of people. Bubba Watson, 6,900. 0.4% ownership. Might have to have a little bit more than that, that's for sure. But Max Homa, this is the other guy I wanted to highlight. 9,200. You're going to get players that end up lower owned amongst the elite fields like this compared to how they've been playing. 16.9% ownership isn't nothing. Same thing with Colin Morikawa, but I am eyeing Max Homa. I get Colin had that amazing hole out, finished top 3, tie 3, last year's edition of this tournament, but Max Homa has played so good. Nearly won again at Riv. Won the Farmers. We're seeing just incredible form out of him. Starting to kind of fill the shoes of, again, everybody thought he could be that dude at Cal, then he struggled, ended up getting his card, running just amok here. 14th at the Arnold Palmer, 6th at the Players in addition to it. He's somebody that with positive leverage is hard for me to get away from. I'm going to start my single entry build with him. That's what I was going to get at. But last players to really look at, the most negatively leveraged ones. We talked about most of them. Sungjae Im. Mito Pereira actually falling into the negatively leveraged category. But again, 11.4% ownership. I'm going to disregard some of that. Wild to see Fleetwood, Tom Hoagie, Justin Rose, Will Zalatoris, paying attention to injury stuff. Again, Will Zalatoris, I think he's doing okay now, but you never know. That guy. Back locks up. Tiger Woods, can't do it. Would rather play Louis for 100 less. Pretty wild to say that out loud, too. My last LIV golfer said that I'm going to have some interest in. So there you go. Don't really know what to say. There aren't as many golfers to be covering in this field. We have to be paying close attention to the weather. I'm going to have some tee time splits if I can. Find some ways of trying to find some kind of leverage there if people are disregarding that. But there are some really, really popular plays, and it's more condensed than other majors because there's fewer golfers. So that does it for it. That said, we're going to bypass anything here in this regard. Just 89 players in the pool. 89 bottles of beer on the wall. 89 bottles of beer. But 6K players, maybe don't have any of them. So you have even fewer golfers than normal. That's why the top 6 odds are out of control. But I wanted to jump over to the PGA lineup generator for all you fine folks. Just show you kind of what we're doing here at Stokastic with that. Again, promo code Augusta23, just $2.50. I don't know how they landed on that number, but they did. $2.50 to check out all the great stuff there. So Augusta23, take advantage. We're going to go to balanced lineups, contrarian lineups. Let's get contrarian. I know a lot of people want to have that. Select a player to lock. Don't want to be doing that, so we're going to hit skip on it. I just want to see what we end up throwing out there. Max Homa, Tony Finau. So we can save up to 20 lineups for this. Shane Lowry, another player to keep your eye on. Quite a bit owned there. Pretty chalky. We're going to discard that one. You can discard. All right, this one looks a little bit more contrarian. Tom Kim, not somebody that I'm necessarily there for, but once again, much lower ownership when you add DJ into the mix, when you have Tom Kim in the mix, rookie. Played with Tiger the other day, though. Keegan Bradley, maybe a remember me spot, even though he hasn't been playing as well as he did towards the tail end of last year, beginning of this year. So there you go. Throw some of these together, and then by the end, when you save a bunch of these lineups, you're going to be able to save up to 20 of them and see exactly what your exposure is. Look at that. Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy was just popping in our tools, talked about him before. You can find ways to do that. You can export it directly to a CSV. Look at that. Here on Google Chrome, throwing it together. I could go get more lineups. I can do a lot of great things, and you don't have to know anything about PGA DFS. You could just disregard a lot of them. You can basically look at this slider projection. You could look at, just how highly projected they are here in this regard. We can disregard a lot of these. We can try to find different ways to get different. Again, the Rory McIlroy, Keith Mitchell kind of getting thrown up into the top of that mix too. We can export it directly to our CSV and be all set to go. Great stuff that we have going here at Stokastic. So shout out all of the data team putting this together for everybody. Just $2.50 to be able to utilize our tools, utilize our projections in lineup form. Can't emphasize enough how cool that is. All right, y'all, let's do single entry, and I like to zoom it in so you can see. There you go. Here we are. Said I was going to start with it, but if you want to try to get really different, again, 50%, 60%, top 6 odds that we're kind of looking at for these guys, 40% for hard to get away from starting with one of them. Rory's going to end up being pretty popular here, but I'm going to just do something crazy, and it's just going to be the most balanced build where I think we could run into a lot of different players that can make the majors interesting. When you start putting like Scheffler, Rory, you're kind of in a dead zone there at the 7K range. So I'm going to go very, very balanced here. I think this is kind of a contrarian way to do things, but Max Homa 9,200. He's never really played well in the majors. I expect him to finish top 10 for the first time in his career here at Augusta. Again, that's just kind of a stance there. Tony Finau going to fall into a lot of my builds as well. Obsessed with pairing him with a number of different bombers. Again, DJ sitting 8,800. Go DJ. But Victor Hovland, if I'm looking at short game being disregarded, maybe Homa doesn't fit into that narrative as much. Let's actually start it with Rory. Bomber, bomber, bomber. Ball striking, ball striking, ball striking. New putter. Sometimes can putt. Can putt. Even though around the green game, still terrible. We're going to actually start with that for the single entry build here for the people, because I want to be a little bit more concise on a way to go out and win one of these things. This is where it gets very, very difficult for me. I'm going to be bypassing the chalky Koepka. Talked about that, 7,600. Going to Corey Connors. I've just kind of attached myself to his sales here. Mito Pereira, I know he had negative leverage going earlier, but then we can kind of finish it and round it out here wherever we want in this 7K range. And there's a number of players to have an eye on. Probably not Chris Kirk this week for me. Seamus Power, I'm definitely going to have some interest in at 6,800. We have a number of ways that we can go a little bit lower. And if you don't want to be going Connors there, and if we're going to go towards that the Max Homa build here, 7,800, this kind of leaves you in a spot where you're avoiding some of that ownership. Tom Kim pulling like next to none. Joaquin Niemann, I think maybe he ends up a little bit more popular than what we think. We'll kind of find out next week. Shane Lowry, if the conditions are tough, Open Championship-like, he has one of those claret jugs. So there you go. Great stuff. But again, Corey Connors, I feel like, is still the name that I'm going to find myself on. Sam Burns, if you want to be a psycho like me, because I always play Sam Burns, just kind of is what it is. And then you can fall into some of those chalkier builds. Thigala, who I really like as well. Siwoo Kim, who I like as well. Patrick Reed, who's going to be chalky, probably not going to be for me in single entries. But lots of ways to do it. That's going to be a more popular build. Don't play anybody at 6,100. For the love of God, look at these humans. Vijay Singh. What are we doing here? Bernard Longer made every cut on the senior tour. Good for him. Don't play him either. Guys, that does it here for the first look. Don't forget to check out Rainmakers. Oh, I gotta zoom out. There you go. Rainmakers. All you gotta do is jump to the homepage here at Rainmakers. Start your PGA Tour collection by getting yourself that free pack. Again, this is for the pay-per-view pack. Looking forward to that, actually, on Saturday as well. But Rainmakers PGA Tour, you can jump with that starter contest into a guaranteed contest. 1K to first. Awesome stuff. You can also burn a couple of the players. So if you go to the lobby and you go to the burn section, you have an opportunity to burn and craft and get 2 players that you might not otherwise have access to. So check that out as well. I guess I got to start in the My Cards section for that one. Go to the crafted burn. Look at this. You can get yourself Jason Day. If you had Aaron Wise, you can get Mike Weir. I don't really suggest doing that, but there you are. This is the one that you definitely probably want to get access to. Get some Jason Day in your life. Aaron Wise not going to be playing here in this edition of the Masters, but that is your PGA DFS first look. Can't wait for it. Use promo code Augusta23 as well to get yourself an opportunity to sign up now for that lineup generator. Amazing, great stuff by our data team. Thank you to them for all the hard work getting that up and going here before the Masters. But check out Rainmakers. Check out all the PGA DFS stuff we have coming this week. Check out the Rainmakers VOD that I'm going to be doing as well if you're interested in that product. Until next week, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck at the first major of the year right now.